Welcome to day 3 of the Youth Ideathon Thematic Sessions. Today we have a wonderful, fantastic panel, and we're going to be talking about tourism, the tourism industry in Uganda, in this space, what opportunities it has for the youth, and really get to have a fantastic conversation going as we have been doing for the past 2 days. I would like to use this opportunity to thank UNDP for all their wonderful work and making this opportunity available to all of you, to all of us, and NASE, the main implementing partner, as well as all of the other implementing partners. So I'm going to invite Dennis Aguma, who's the founder of NASE, to give us a presentation about the Youth Ideathon, and then we will get on to a start. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paula. Good morning, our viewers, listeners, wherever you are, and our distinguished panelists. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. This is our third thematic session, and if yesterday's is anything to go by, we're really looking forward to how this is going to turn out. My name is Aguma, Dennis Aguma. I'm the founder and executive director for NASE. We've been doing a lot of work mainly in vocational colleges and higher education institutions. We a social enterprise that launched in 2015 with support from Kingston University in London. We've since been supported by University of Surrey in the UK, Anglia Ruskin University in Cambridge, and most recently Birmingham City University, where I also lecture and research around enterprise and entrepreneurship. Our focus mainly is in 4 key areas, one of which is inspiring, incubating, obviously giving grants, but crucially, skilling is one of those key things that we are focused on doing. Our vision is really simple: to leverage the power of entrepreneurship to achieve socio-economic transformation. Perhaps some of you may not be aware that today is World Youth Skills Day. Yes, it's World Youth Skills Day. And myself and a number of other colleagues from the United Nations Development Programme, from organizations like BRAC, Stanbic, and others will be joining our resident representative, Madame Elsie Atafo, very shortly at NBS, where we'll be sharing some thoughts and ideas around skilling the youth. Perhaps worth mentioning at this stage, what are those skills that we're talking about? The Future of Jobs report, I think, highlights the top 10 skills at the moment. If you look at my slide, you'll notice that in 2015, if you compare 2015 with 2020, the number 1 top skill has not changed. It is still complex problem solving. So if you go down all the way, you have coordinating with others, people management, critical thinking, negotiation, quality control, service, creativity, active listening. But if you look at 2020, you still have complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, service orientation, negotiation, among others. These are key entrepreneurial skills. So how has NASE been helping to develop these entrepreneurial skills? Our strategy really has been a co-curricular entrepreneurship education strategy, working with students before they leave the world of work, before they join the world of work, I beg your pardon. We are seeing lots of well-meant interventions, but most of them are focusing on the youth when they are already on the streets. We think that our strategy to support these young people before they join the world of work is perhaps a more apt way of doing it. So what is the Youth Ideathon? The Youth Ideathon, as we always say on this Ideathon platform, every business starts with a simple idea. And we're not looking for you to come with business plans, 5-year forecasts. None of us knows when this lockdown is going to end. No one has a clue what's going to happen next year. So we're really going to give you a chance just to focus on your idea, looking at the problem that you're trying to solve, the pain that you're trying to solve, and how your solution fits into that. The bar has been set so low that almost everyone should be encouraged, especially the youth. Just look within your neighborhood, within the environment in which you are, especially around those 8 categories, what challenges you're facing, and come up with an idea. However silly you might think it is, you'll be surprised. We've seen some ideas that we thought were silly and other people laughed at them, and they end up becoming some of the biggest businesses, employing hundreds of people. So I would encourage young people to really focus on the challenge and the issues and the pains within the environment to come up with a business idea. This is how the Youth Ideathon process looks like. At the moment, you'll be going through you will have gone through the application process. That process is still ongoing. I think it finishes next week on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, we're going through what we call thematic sessions, where these thematic sessions are essentially designed to inspire you. But inspiration can come from any of these different sectors. It could come from listening to someone like Amos Wekesa, who is our distinguished panelist today, talking about tourism. But by and large, he's a formidable entrepreneur that has lifelong skills that anyone else who's trying to start a business can learn from. But of course, he would still provide invaluable, as well as our other panelists, they'll still provide invaluable and industry-specific insights around their chosen areas. So I would encourage everyone to listen attentively. We're going to have a Q&A section after this, where we'll be taking and answering questions. Yesterday, we had over 150 questions, if I'm not mistaken. We managed to go through 100 at some point. I think there are almost 200 questions. So ask as many questions as you can. My colleagues are going to be there to help you answer them live. If they're not able to, they'll form part of our Q&A that will try and attempt to go through them all. After the thematic sessions, we'll go to what we call a bootcamp or masterclass sessions. They will last for no longer than 2 weeks. So it's a short sprint really from your idea to thematic sessions to a short sprint where you end up pitching. And the pitching is going to be very simple, something like a simple basic pitch deck on an A4 piece of paper. Or for the creative guys, you can actually send in a video, you can send in a picture and things like that. So I'm going to talk about the platform that we're using that should give you that opportunity to pitch in the best way possible. This platform, with great thanks to our colleagues and friends at Hostelite, we've developed a platform that we actually think is the first of its kind in this space. It has a complete audit trail of your idea from when you registered to what improvements you made on your idea. And the reason we've done this is to secure the intellectual property within your idea. Even the judges would not see your name. They will just see a summary of the idea, and we can have, there's a back end where all this is tracked, and you move from one initial stage, second stage, third stage. So people should be on the lookout for emails popping in once they've moved from one stage to another. I can confirm that my colleagues are at the moment in the evaluation stage. The platform is actually very interactive. If you go at the bottom, you can see it will give judges an opportunity to rank you based on specific parameters. You can send messages. I've looked at some of the message sending functions. The youth should be very happy with this. You can even send emojis. You can log in notes. You can schedule activities with your mentors. You can put attachments. So we've made it as user-friendly as possible. You feel like you're on Facebook or Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. So I would encourage everyone to go and sign up on that platform if you haven't done so. Perhaps some key insights that might benefit the panelists. These are the figures that we're looking at as of Friday last week. I can confirm that these figures have since gone up, but we have seen over 2,500 ideas, and these are going up since Friday last week. We are prepared at the moment to receive anywhere between 3,000 to 3,500 ideas. So my team are working behind the scenes to ensure that everyone gets at least decent feedback, and we progress your ideas as much as possible as we can. We're also working with other partners, both within our UNDP fraternity, partners like BRAC, partners like the business, Stanbic Business Incubation Center, among others, to open other channels in which these individuals can actually be absorbed. Just some few key insights. One of the key insights to see here is the number of males versus the number of females applying. It's very interesting that the number of males are actually more than the number of females, and yet from existing literature, we know that Ugandan females are more entrepreneurial than our men. So we're not sure what's happening, but we'd like to encourage young women to actually go ahead and apply. We're also seeing lots of young people in school applying more than those who are out of school. Why am I excited about this? Because we've been talking about this for a while, that we need to deal with the skills issue before young people leave school. And looking at the hunger for enterprise and entrepreneurship, it is obvious that more focus needs to be given to young people before they leave school. Registrations by region, I'll jump through those very quickly, but most of them are from Central, Western. We're still having a few issues with applications from the North, but we're doing our best to make sure that we reach out to as many of them as possible. The other thing to note, of course, is agriculture, being the backbone of our country, seems to be sending, or more applicants are coming in from the agriculture sector, followed by the creative industry and others. That said, very many young people are actually sending in more than one application, and they're actually more than those who are sending in just a single application. So these are interesting times. We think there's a normal distribution for these figures of more than one, and we'll be looking into this. Hopefully next week we'll provide a slightly more fair distribution of these sessions. Just to wrap this up very quickly, the next sessions are about creatives. I think that's the one for tomorrow. And next week we'll be talking about manufacturing, minerals, renewable, smart cities, and others. I do apologize. I have to run through this very quickly because I'm supposed to be on TV very shortly with my other colleagues. But I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our panelists for sparing their time, our support partners, all of them listed below. I can't go through them all at this particular point. Colleagues from the UNDP Accelerator Lab, thank you so much for your support. And of course, the resident representative for giving us a chance and trusting young people to take their country forward. I thank you and hope you have a very good deliberation on World Youth Skills Day. Thank you very much. Over to you, Paula.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dennis, for that brief. Very, very exciting stuff. We've received over 2,500 applications of ideas from Ugandans, and that just shows you what the demand is like and how many people are keen to enter products and services into our market and into our economy. So we're going to dive right into our program. Very, very, very excited. As has been the order from yesterday, we are going to go with ladies first. Miss Aleti, I hope you're ready. I request that each and every one of you turn on your videos and you turn on your audio as well when you're going to speak. So my first question, and really just to set the pace for this conversation, maybe on a more positive note before we start talking about the negative effects of COVID. Miss Aleti, I'm wondering what you think are some of the more positive opportunities that COVID-19 has presented for young people.
Hi, Paula, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Alexi.
Paula, we lost you. Your
yeah,
dropped.
You're freezing. I can't see you, Paula.
Oh, how about now? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Brilliant. Thank you. Go on, Aleti.
Opportunities. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal Aleti. A full-time traveler, Ugandan. I do other things, but right now we're focusing on tourism. So, Paula, you asked about opportunities that that have come with COVID, right?
Yes,
Paula?
the opportunities that have been presented for younger people, specifically in tourism as a result of COVID-19.
Okay. So personally, I'm going to use Instagram, okay? COVID-19 has pushed us to think out of the box, okay? I personally only joined social media 2020, June. That was the first, I think the first lockdown we had as a country, or everywhere, everything was locked down then. So I got this idea of you need to think out of the box. You need to do something else. I loved tourism and I had been traveling even way before COVID, but I was not documenting it, okay? So COVID pushed me to actually think out of the box. It pushed me out of my comfort zone to do something more. So I joined Instagram and I was like, I want this to be my side hustle. I want to earn from documenting my travels. Okay. Just to put this clear, I had already saved up for my travels. I didn't just get a loan and started traveling, really. I had already saved up for my travels. So when I started documenting this, June last year, I was on 0 followers, totally. So as of today, my following has grown a bit and I've started earning from my Instagram a bit. Yes, almost there. So the point I'm making is COVID-19 has pushed us to think out of the box. So I think it's presented this opportunity of you can utilize like your socials. It's supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be a place we log onto to just maybe look at memes and be happy and forget all the stress that's going around. But you can actually now start earning like from your like social media. So it's pushed us to think out of the box. That's for me. That's the opportunity it's come with.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Aleti. I've been personally impressed by everything that you're doing on social media. I've noticed that content creation from travel enthusiasts is a very, very big thing, and it's creating an appetite and a domestic culture of wanting travel and adventure. So hopefully we figure out this COVID thing and vaccine soon, and I'm sure more people are even more excited and more willing to explore their own country, at least Uganda, which has so much to offer. So I really, really appreciate that. Mr. Ian Lumonya, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Hi, Ian. Are you?
Would you like to share with us what kind of experience you've had, or any surges or changes that have been brought about by the COVID pandemic?
Right. Thank you. So my name is Ian Lumonya, and I'm currently running operations at a place called Oguzulu Resort Beach and Campsite. Now, one of the challenges that we have faced due to COVID-19 is the fact that, of course, travel has really gone down. So before the pandemic broke out in early 2019, we had reached a level whereby we were full every single weekend. We had guests every single weekend. So we had cash flow. The cash flow was really good. You'd be sure that at least every weekend you're going to have resources coming in to help with the business. But then COVID comes and all of a sudden the numbers go down. We also engage in team building, and we have a high ropes course and a challenge course and an obstacle course. And the biggest consumers of that are the companies, because they were spending and bringing their employees for team building. But now, of course, we have to social distance. We have to, companies stop prioritizing that. So because of that, we faced a big dip in how busy we were, in how our volumes were coming in. But it was an opportunity for us to maximize since we were moving so fast, numbers every weekend. But after that, we were able to start training our staff in customer care, to start focusing on how we can improve the customer experience, improving on our marketing. So those are some of the opportunities that came with COVID. It gave us a new perspective. It gave us a reason to look into perfecting other parts of the service delivery. I notice Paula is back with us. Paula.
Paula is back. Paula, please take over. Well, I'd just ask you and share with us a few opportunities and challenges that have been presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. That was after you dropped off. Kindly take over. Over to you, bye.
Brilliant. Thank you, Albert. I'm going to request you and Jimmy to take over when my internet drops off. I don't know why it is. I assume it's because many people are working from home and working online, so the internet is unstable. But panelists and attendees, I kindly request you bear with me. I am here. And I'm going to do my best. But Albert and Jimmy, if you can stand by in case I drop off, I would be most grateful. Thank you very much, Ian. I just wanted to ask, because you've explained how cash flow has gone down and how the numbers have gone down as a result of COVID. I am wondering if you and the management at Okuzulu Resort are coming up with any different innovative ideas of how you're going to come out of it whilst we're still in a pandemic, especially if at least we're out of lockdown and people can move about between districts. Do you have any thoughts about how other resorts and hotels and like yours can begin to come out of this?
Okay, we've been, first of all, we've been looking at ensuring that people are protected from COVID-19 when at the facility. So we're looking at, let's say, coming up with methods and modes of team building, because let's say team building is very important for organizations. So when they come to the resort to do team building, we've come up with measures and formulas to ensure that people can be together and grow chemistry as a team, but without being risked to the exposure of COVID-19. And we've also looked at flexibility because it's so unpredictable. So we've had to be more flexible with bookings. You allow people to change their bookings. You allow people to, because you can't know when the lockdown is coming, when the lockdown is going to be lifted. For example, originally local tourism had been allowed during this lockdown. Then suddenly the lockdown was, the local tourism was cancelled and they only allowed foreigners to travel. So in such a situation, you have to be flexible with your consumers, because as much as they wanted to come and they had made a booking and you had also planned for this booking and maybe invested some money in preparations for them, now all of a sudden there's a new lockdown and they can't come. So we've had to be as flexible as we can be in order to cater for such incidents and reschedule. Yeah, so in summary, I would say flexibility and applying standard operating procedures to prevent the threat of COVID-19. Yes.
So Wekesa, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, guys.
Hi, Ndugu Wekesa.
Hello.
How are you guys? Hi, Paula.
Wonderful. Finally, we have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me this morning.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. I was wondering if you can expound on what Mr. Lumonya has been talking about on the effects of COVID on his resort, being one of our most notable entrepreneurs in tourism. I was wondering if you can really paint us a picture on the effect of COVID on tourism in Uganda.
Yeah, I think, Lumonya has been extremely very brilliant in trying to bring it out. And it's very nice to see young people aspiring and pushing agendas like this. The truth is that tourism, like schools, face some of the hardest challenges during this particular time. Tourism and insecurity, for example, tourism with non-movement, they just can't coexist. And I think that's what he's talking about. The two lockdowns have been even worse for the tourism industry. And also the idea of international tourism, much as we're seeing a bit of numbers coming in, they're too small for them to make a very significant difference in as far as tourism is concerned. Because averagely, a place like Bwindi now, you only have about 60 to 70 people per day. And don't forget that the majority of tourists coming into the country go to see the mountain gorillas, which means that over the 400 tour companies in this country, we only have, between us, we only have about 70 tourists at any one particular time, probably. Now, we've been pushing leadership to make sure that they open up for the domestic tourism, because if I have taken my 2 jobs and traveling in a tour company, I'm going to be staying in an, safari-like accommodation. I should be able to also enjoy my country as a Ugandan. Now, the thing is that it is not just a Ugandan problem. It is estimated that the world is going to be losing close to $4 trillion in as far as tourism is concerned worldwide. And Uganda, which has been earning about $1.6 billion, especially from the foreign incomes. When you add the foreign incomes and the local incomes, especially domestic tourism plus international tourism, we're about $2.2 billion that are supposed to be earned. This, in many ways, is not going to be earned because of the challenges that we have. We may have about 5 to 10%. And like Lumonya said, none of us knows where we're going tomorrow. None of us understands where we're going. The thing about Uganda's tourism is that it has not yet begun. We have not even covered 5% of our potential as a country. And mainly because tourism is a new concept to an average Ugandan. And that's why it's very important to see one of the panelists saying, I've started marketing using my Instagram, and that's very good. We need more young people, more innovative people, innovative minds coming in to be able to take advantage of the tourism industry. Now, when I say this, sometimes people are always shocked, but the reality is that we have about 290 to 300 tour operators in this country that are registered. And then you have a few fly catchers. Fly catchers are the ones that come in during June and June 15th, during the summertime in the West, do a bit of business and disappear in September, come back end of December and work until February. Those are fly catchers. And this is mainly Kenya, a term used by guys in Kenya. Now in Kenya, you have about between 5,000 to 6,000 tour operators that are registered under cattle. Now that means that Uganda is still very far. Tanzania has over 3,000 registered tour operators, and therefore they are far ahead of us in as far as tourism is concerned. But in terms of potential, there's hardly any country in the region that can beat our potential. The challenge is our education system does not give us a chance to be able to study and understand our tourism industry. Now, as players in the industry, as a person who has been in the industry for a long time, I still believe that what Lumonya is doing is the right thing. And that's exactly what we're doing as well. We're making sure that our staff are trained right now. We're going through training, but also improving our facilities. So anybody who follows me on Facebook will be able to see that we're improving our lodges, we're training our staff, we're preparing ourselves for the time when tourism comes up. Because the reality is that tourism is going to start booming again. It's going to come back. The only problem is that none of us knows when, but therefore it is important for us now to start preparing. And the young people out there, I can assure you that tourism has so many components, and that tourism could easily take over 2 million Ugandans, could absorb more 2 million Ugandans in the job space. Just depends on how well you look at which space to tap into, because tourism is very vast.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Before I let you go, I was just wondering if you can expand on the different opportunities that young people can take up in the tourism space. 2 million is quite a big number, and I agree with you that there's a lot of opportunity that young people and Ugandans in general can be preparing for as we get out of this lockdown, whenever that happens. So I was wondering if you can expand on that a little bit, on how domestically we can begin to start to tap this potential of tourism. Thank you.
I think what we need to all appreciate is that tourism is actually called every person's business. And the reason why they say it's every person's business is because tourism cuts across all other sectors. So if you're in manufacturing, you're in agriculture, you're in agro-processing, whatever industry you're in many ways, it has a direct, is a direct beneficiary of what the tourism industry does. I think what a young person must understand or look at the chain, the trickle-down effect, the movement of a tourist, and be able to tap into it. Where do opportunities come from in as far as tourism comes in? Now, if I am a tourist and I'm based, for example, in the UK, I'm based in the US, and I'm coming to Uganda, by the time I buy that ticket on British Airways or buy that ticket on KLM, KLM earns money. KLM lands in Entebbe, gives us landing fee. KLM gives us parking fee. KLM, in every ticket, there is about $50 that Uganda earns in every ticket. And then, of course, that same tourist will pay $50 for a visa. That tourist will go to a petrol station and will be able to take fuel. That petrol station will be paying that. It will be paying the employees. The car that has picked the tourist has a mechanic. That car has a driver who also uses other services. So, you know, by the time the tourist arrives at a hotel, in the hotel, you have manufacturers who have supported the hotel. Hotel has supported the manufacturers through buying the different items, from spoons to beds, to mattresses, to bed sheets, to, you know, even just the construction process. Those are benefits of a tourist at the end of the day. And this cycle continues until now. If I am a young man and I'm thinking about what exactly or which area, I have first of all to look at the chain of the movement. I have to look at itineraries that most likely be used by a tourist coming to Uganda. Now, from becoming a tour guide to probably positioning your petrol station to serve tourists, to stopovers in different parts of the country, to crafts that you can actually tap into. And even crafts, there's so many types of crafts that you can come in, art as well. Even music is also part of tourism in many ways, which a lot of people don't appreciate, especially in this country. We've not attached the art, especially like music and entertainment. One of our biggest opportunities in this country is actually Kampala is the entertainment city of Africa, of East Africa. And if we marketed it, for example, that would be fantastic. Now, there is just no way you young man or me as a person growing older now that I can actually push the agenda of Uganda's tourism without having a national outlook, because there is no way I'm going to succeed without a country succeeding. And I always tell people, I see some people who look at me and say, oh, but Amos, you've done extremely very well. It is not, it's just because when you're in a country of, in many ways, sorry to use this, if you're in a country of the blind and you're a bit of the one-eyed person, you easily become a leader. But the reality is that if you compare our performance to, say, Kenya, where you have probably over 15 companies turning over between $50 and $100 million in tourism every year, if you compare to what we're earning as a country, it's too little. But the reason why we're earning little as a country is because there's no bigger picture. We're all not pushing an agenda, a national agenda, where we need to position our country for, you know, in terms of marketing, in terms of PR, things that we rejoice in as people. And the young people listening here, if you go on the internet and someone is showing a picture of Uganda Airlines being pushed, at the end of the day, it's not the president of Uganda who is going to lose out. It's actually me. It's actually you at the end of the day. When that tourist comes and he eats in a restaurant and provides a job, the president of Uganda doesn't care, will collect the taxes, will do whatever he wants. So, but if we join the campaign to showcase the negative bits of Uganda, we are joining the campaign to keep ourselves poor as a people. And we just don't understand how this works, but they all work in tandem. And we need to be very, very careful in what we support, what we share. And those of you who follow me will never see me push that kind of stuff. In fact, when it comes up, I engage the people who are doing that. And a lot of Ugandans don't understand why we are poor. We are poor because we are so good at pushing a negative agenda about ourselves. So anyway, but even then, you need to have a vision. As a person that wants to join tourism, create a vision for yourself, because a vision leads to a strategy. If you have no vision, there's no need to say, I'm going to join and do something. The first thing you need to have is a vision. When you have a vision leads to strategy. You'll be able to create a strategy that will be able for you to achieve your vision. When you've got a strategy, then it will lead automatically to tactics. What are the things that you're going to do in order for you to be able to achieve your strategy? And this is very important for a person that is listening in, that wants to join the tourism industry. The tourism industry has lots of a future, and like I said, from accommodation, investment in national parks, to buying safari cars, to the use of internet, like one of the panelists, and there's so many ways in which you can use to tap into the tourism industry. A lot of us have a lot of presence on internet, but do not use that presence to tap into the world. What has happened now, in as far as tourism is concerned, or business is concerned, the whole world is on our phone. It just depends on how we position ourselves using the phone. If you want to, for example, understand how to position yourself on internet, let's go to websites. You need to understand how websites work, for example. You need to understand that every single day, there are thousands of websites uploaded on the internet. A website is like you having a car and you're selling something. Unless it is seen, no one's going to buy it. Now, when you put the website on internet, it is very important for you to make sure that people see it. What are the keywords that you're going to use? Understand what they call search engine optimization. Every 48 hours, there's what they call a crawler. It goes through the internet. And when it goes through the internet, looks for that website that has been updated and tries to bring you up. Understand how to position the meta tags, how to be able to position that website such that people can be able to access you. One thing that we should know is that if I am Googling something and I'm Googling information, I will only go to the first, second, or third page, unless I've not found something there that I will go to 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th page. So it is important for you to do things that will bring you on the first page, the second page. If I am in tourism, how do I make sure that if someone Googles Uganda safaris, I am #1? These are things that you can actually Google and study about them, study what they call search engine optimization as a young person. And that's very important. Social media, use the social media for good purpose. I know that Aleti is using social media. I use a lot of social media. When I don't necessarily write about myself, when you're doing a business now, people are interested, mainly they buy into you before they buy into your product. Now, as Amos, people must buy me. What are the things? I must add value to the people that follow me. But because I add value to people that follow me, when I post a picture of, say, Primate Lodge, Elephant Plains, or Simba Safari Camp, or MV Kazinga, then people are willing and happy to actually support or promote you. So it is a lot of these factors combined that will help you enhance or grow whatever entity that you are involved in. Volunteer a lot, be able to give a lot of information, share your information, teach people, and at the end of the day, it will also come back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wekesa, for those wonderful ideas that you've shared with us and explaining and helping us understand and know the entire value chain and how the young people stand to benefit. Still, as you mentioned earlier on, there's a very, very huge opportunity that young people have in the tourism sector. And still, it became so clear when you expound on it that we have fortunately utilize some of this. I'd like to call on him to come and share with us his story. That's Brian Namanya. Brian, kindly tell us briefly, what kind of business are you doing? What are you into? And how did you get this idea to tap into this? Yes, Brian, you're muted.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Albert. It was really nice listening in from Mr. Amos. He's really inspired and showed us hope and also showed us that we can actually make the money from tourism, us as Ugandans. Just to talk about Tuvayo. Tuvayo is an online travel marketplace for users Ugandans to easily discover great activities and experiences around their country, and also book alternative accommodation for them. So this platform was started to solve three main challenges that we noticed a Ugandan was facing in regards to enjoying and traveling around the country. One, there was limited selection on the internet for them to discover. And so planning a trip was a headache. If we needed to travel around the country, either you needed to have a contact of an agent, or you needed to like ask a friend around, what can you recommend in Ginger, you know, that back and forth. And also once they've recommended activities, most of these were very pricey for the normal Ugandan to afford, you know. But why they were is because of the target market that normal tour companies were aiming at. This was mainly the foreign market. And so there was limited selection, pricey experiences. And then the third was if they wanted to make a booking. The Ugandan client didn't trust the agent because they're just hearing about them for the first time. So they don't want to pay up front in order for the agent to make plans and create a wonderful experience for them. So on both ends, there's a bit of a challenge. And so that's what Tuwayo comes to fix. We give people a wonderful selection, and this selection impacts on the price. So the customer enjoys a great price because of the many players that are on the platform, since they all want to make an impression to the customer. And then thirdly, we enable convenient booking with mobile money. So that means one can use their mobile phone at the comfort of their home, search through the different offerings, compare pricing according to his budget or their budget, make a booking easily, get the notification in less than 5 minutes. They can get to do all of that. Yeah, so that's what Tuwayo is. Why we did that? After campus, I saw the opportunity of the internet. I remember I was in branding before, and I just remember looking around for what's the best branding company. These were Graphic Systems, New Vision, and these are companies that are less than about $15 million, you know. And for me, I had this, just like any young person, I want to be a billionaire, you know. So I'm like, yeah, that means I have to work. And these are companies that have been around for 20 years. That means I have to be around for that, you know, that long to be just $15 million. I knew that was the thing I wanted to do. So I simply just looked around the world to see what are the richest people doing. And all of them were on the internet, like the top 5. Bezos, Elon Musk, Jack Ma, you know, they were on the internet. So I was excited. I'm like, I have to get something onto the internet. And so I had to narrow it down. What am I going to do? Am I going to do e-commerce just like Amazon, just like Alibaba? But my economics background, I remember making a research on some of the fastest growing industries. And tourism was the fastest growing industry. And it made a lot of sense because it's simply a service industry. There's not so much capital investments that you need to make. And so I saw this as an opportunity with very limited capital. Like if I can create a platform where I solve these 3 challenges that Ugandan travelers and mainly travelers across Africa are facing, that will give us an opportunity. So with that, I had zeroed down on the internet, zeroed down on the sector that I was going to be a part of, and then I had to make research about people that were doing similar ideas. And then that's when I came across a platform like Airbnb. And when I started its model, it was so perfect for Uganda. We are talking about increasing tourism activity, but the rate at which we are constructing hotels is so slow. I remember around Commonwealth, you saw there was a lot of, you know, fund management. They are calling upon hotel entrepreneurs, giving them free money, throwing it at them, construct more hotels for accommodation. There are no activities. They're trying to, you know, rally players. So I noticed this is the perfect platform for us. It gives an opportunity to individuals, to homeowners, people who have worked in Kampala and have homes up country. They have homes in Kampala. They are not occupied. Probably the kids have moved out. An opportunity for them to list and make available that space that they have. You know, that boys' quarter, that a 3-bedroom house that is just, you know, a family home that you only go to once a year, to make it available for tourists. So this in turn will increase accommodation space by a big margin, you know. For example, there's something I share with the team. It probably takes a developer of a hotel about 5 years to develop a 4-star hotel, or reasonably nice, you know. like a 100-room hotel, about 4 years, with enough resources. But in just 8 years, 8 months, when we launched the Tubayo app, we've been able to avail over 400 homes. And these homes have an average of about 3 rooms. So if you multiply that, that's about 1,200 rooms in less than 8 months. So this is just the potential and the opportunity that the internet presents in travel, and equipping us with the capacity to tap into the trend that is growing of where people are traveling. And to speak more about the trend, I just made a simple realization of how back in the day, our grandparents moved from the villages to towns. Yeah, that's all they traveled, and they traveled to basically, trade, but our parents later, when due to exposure and hearing stories of like what's out there in different regions, they were able to travel from the village to town, and even some of them were lucky to go outside countries, because of these stories. But in our time, people have done all of that at just 20 years, or even less than that. People have traveled to 2 countries or more. So that's just the trend at which travel is going. Our grandchildren will travel to almost 100 countries. And also looking at the speed and efficiency in travel has been improving. And this is all going to be accelerated or enabled by technology.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Brian. That was really brilliant. Indeed, the kind of approach that you took, instead of sitting and waiting till you make up a certain huge amount of capital to be able to go into these big things, the approach that you took was quite innovative. It was good. It was moving with the 21st century.
I managed to catch what Brian was saying, and I am very, very, very excited about what Brian and his team are doing with Tubayo Travel. I'm hoping for the attendees, you're able to catch everything that he said. I think there's such a huge opportunity in tourism to leverage technology to participate more heavily in the tourism industry and that supply chain, as well as, in agriculture, manufacturing, creativity, all of these other industries that we're going to be talking about over the next 1 week or so. So it's really, really fantastic. I love that example. And Brian, I'm just wondering if you can share with us a few more statistics of what Tubayo has been able to achieve in the past 8 months. For those people who say technology and platforms don't work in Uganda, or those who say Ugandans still do not consume a lot of products and services online, can you provide an even more clear picture about what Tubayo has been able to achieve in the past 8 months, so that we can encourage more of the attendees and more Ugandans to participate in the tourism space, but more importantly, to leverage technology? Brian, are you still there?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Great.
So I'll talk about what we've been able to do. I just remember reading a quote somewhere that said, sufficiently advanced technology is almost indistinguishable from magic. Yeah. Like back then, if they told you someone would use a phone or like a device to call you from like a place 100 kilometers away and you'll be able to listen to them and exchange, that is something people back then didn't, would even bet money that was impossible. Yeah. But technology does this. So I'll give you something to look at. Mr. Amos Wekesa talked about the registered tour operators that are currently available in the country. That is around 300 registered tour operators. This is probably they're registered with AUTO, the Association of Tour Operators. This is something that has existed, I think, 20 years. Yeah. And by these tour operators, these are companies that are headed by like individuals. Yeah. But when I give you like what we've been able to do, so for example, AUTO supports these different players and they register and all, so they're just 300. But what we've been able to do in just 8 months, we've been able to support the individuals who are excited to join travel. These individuals have the ideas, great products, but they have no capital. They're not so skilled in the other operations of the business, like the financing, the marketing, but they want to be part of like a platform that's going to avail them the opportunities that a normal organization like Otto would avail them, you know? And in such a short time, we've had close to 600 players. These are people with just small companies, you know, given a year, the capacity, they will build these into much bigger companies. So we've almost doubled the entire capacity that these people had for over these years because of the way they've been working, you know. So that shows you the power of what technology can do. And yeah, so the other statistics is the number of people we've enabled to travel. For example, I remember the first time when we got our first booking, we'd get about 4 in a month, because we had to build trust with people. Hey, we are not the ones offering the trips. We have the partners, the agents, the guides that have listed these things on our platform. Please book from us, and then you'll access the activity. It was so hard convincing them, but our value to the guides was the future is going to be about efficiency. You know, right now you can't be proud to have an office with over 5 rooms and over 20 employees. That means your cost of operation is high, and in turn this affects the price that you charge the client. And that's why we've been having the high pricey trips. These people are paying the marketeers, the accountants. But when you get these young people who are relying on a platform like ours to access the market, we've been able to accelerate users. So to tell you about our bookings, when we got the first 4 in like a month, fast forward in around August last year, we had our first 100 in 1 week, you know. But these were booking different service providers, different guides, and you know, going all over the country. And since then, we've been able to do up to 500 in just 1 week. You know, normally if you give that to a physical office location, 500 is many clients. Everyone is coming in with a different inquiry. They want to be receipted. You have to invoice them. You have to follow up with payment. You know, but this can be done smoothly. Payments are transacted smoothly with just the internet. So that is really the power of technology. Those are some of the things we've been able to achieve, yeah, in this short time. Kola, you're muted.
Apologies. I appreciate that, Brian. Thank you very, very much for that elaboration. I hope the attendees are taking note about the potential, but also the capacity of impact that they can have in the tourism industry, but all other industries to serve people. I appreciate that. I'm wondering what Mr. Wekesa, who has been in the space for a long time, thinks about this, thinks about leveraging technology, and how many of the players that are in this space can expand on what they're doing using technology. Mr. Wekesa, are you still with us? I don't know if Mr. Wekesa is still with us, but maybe as we wait for him to come on, Justice Kojo, are you there from the Ultimate Group of Companies?
Yes, please, Paula. I am here, thank you.
Awesome, welcome, and thank you for being here, and thank you for being patient with us. I'm hearing what Brian was saying. I'm just also very interested hearing your thoughts on how the youth can think about doing tourism differently and innovatively as we prepare to come out of this lockdown.
Oh, thank you very much, Paula. My name is Justice Kojo, and I'm the CEO to the Ultimate Group of Companies. A little bit background about myself and what I do. I am a business and life coach. I have up until this day brought 13 startups to success. At the moment, manning 8 at the Ultimate Group, to which I am CEO and founder. But most exciting, Paula, and everyone hearing, is the Gorilla Bikes. So I started the concept of the Gorilla Bikes, really speaking of innovation and the youth. And to this day, I wonder in awe what the power of a bicycle, you know, could disrupt and do. So many of us are thinking grand, and I do encourage everyone listening to me, especially the young people we're talking to here. we've got to be thinking innovative. Let's forget about how intense sometimes, you know, some businesses are, especially from an investment perspective. Let's think about products that disrupt, you know, new ideas and how we leverage the physical energy we have, because at this time, this stage of growth is basically, we have the physical energy to run around and to sell ideas and to fail so many times. I encourage everyone here to be excited about failing, because if you are actually holding all of your opportunities and shots to only aim success, I feel bad for you, really. I encourage us to be able to dream extremely so hard, but also be very excited when we fail. So the concept of Gorilla Bikes, a little background about Gorilla. It is the first professional bike brand, East, Central, and West Africa. And I used my own problem actually to solve one for many. Coming up with the brand Gorilla, I'm a professional cyclist and riding in North America, Asia, Europe, South Africa. Everyone relates Uganda to Idi Amin, all the gorillas. And so for me, I used that as an opportunity, like Amos said, to rebrand my country, to retell a better story. And so leveraging the gorilla name for a brand to really tell a better story about Uganda was an opportunity I saw quick and early. But also, Paula, answering your question, which is what we are able to do, especially adding on to Brian Tuvayo's concept, which I really, really appreciate. And by the way, Brian, I want to also take this opportunity to give you big thumbs ups, because you are doing, you know, what cowards don't do, let's say. So that is really innovative, and a lot of respect to you in line with that. But really going in and speaking about innovation. So for instance, in tourism, we also identify the opportunity that there can be premier cycling trips. And I can tell you, going with Amos Wekesa, who is also on this call, last year we did the tour of Karamoja, going from Kampala to Karamoja. And that is about over 1,000 kilometers on a bicycle. I can tell you that the things we see on the back end, the value addition, it's basically like Amos said, breaking it down from when anyone flies in. Some people flew in from Amsterdam, from Europe, respective parts of the world, to come in and be a part of the tour. So that is all the respective little value addition to the chain that tourism can do. But the end product was cycling to Karamoja. And I can tell you, here we are riding with bicycles loaded with vans. My team is fully employed at the Ultimate, in particular Ultimate Cycling here. We are stopping by all these little towns, buying so much snacks, water, fueling up the cars, really, you know, engaging community and making new friends. And I remember people running to Amos so many times. Oh, Amos are following, you know, on social media, and all of that is value. But really speaking into youth innovation really here, it's how can you actually use a tool such as a bicycle, you know? And I tell you that bikes are very accessible, and we must be able to, again, critical thinking. I love to solve problems. You must be looking for a problem to solve, for yourself and for so many, but the most important thing is that there's gotta be impact. Generally and overall, you know, with whatever solution you come up with, and but also it must be sustainable. Thank you very much, Paula. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Justin.
Absolutely.
Yes, I have one other thing that I want to talk to you about. Brian mentioned it, but also Amos mentioned it. Amos was talking about how predominantly the international tourists that are coming into Uganda, many of them are coming to see the mountain gorillas. And Brian talked about being able to onboard about 600 informal, smaller vendors. So I guess I'm just wondering what you think around what we are able to offer in terms of travel and tour experiences. Is there room for creativity? Is there room for co-creation? Is there space to do more?
Oh, thank you very much, Paula. Actually, that is a very exciting opportunity to present to everyone listening to me, especially, you know, all we fellow youth. I want to really promise you that Uganda is untapped, that tourism, you know, like Amos says, we have yet to start. And I promise that, for instance, I've been out, I was at the Murchison Falls, a very beautiful destination, really blessed, beautiful country. But the number of activities we can do there are so limited. I want to challenge everyone listening to me here and now. What can you come up with? What new idea can you come up with? Obviously, you're going to find the UA boat cruise going on. You're going to find community walks, really. But what solution can you bring, especially from an activity increment perspective? Because I trust that the more activities there is to do, the more nights the guests are going to stay, and that definitely translates to so much revenue, of course, to the accommodation owners, to the community. Everyone grows, but also enhancing the experience of the guest or the tourist to their stay. And for as long as there's so much to do, there's so much to tell, and hence the memory. I can tell you that our biggest opportunity as youth now is to actually almost look at a great foundation. And I would like to give this opportunity to everyone here listening, especially if you're interested in tourism. Look at this as your best opportunity to go and think about a new product or service to actually contribute to the Ugandan tourism space. Because in my own opinion, and I'm happy to be corrected, I think from an activity perspective, we have only scratched under 3%, especially given this mountainous, rocky, beautiful space and country. I would like to conclude with just a very, very good entrepreneur I talked to. We actually mentor at the Lake Bunyonyi. This gentleman basically does art. He only draws, you know, with a pen and pencil. Now, being in Bunyonyi, Lake Bunyonyi, for those of us that have been, it is scenic, it is insanely beautiful. But that does not only apply to the Lake Bunyonyi, that is really anywhere else in Uganda. Now, his opportunity, we went from, okay, for him drawing art to fold it and sell it, to actually selling that as an experience. I tell you that so many people are passionate about art, and so many would be passionate about drawing it, okay? By my view and seated at the deck or the patio, I see the Lake Bunyonyi, I see the hills, I see the guys on the boat, and I really want to translate that onto pen and paper. And that buys time. That person is going to, some pieces actually take up to 3 days, up to 5 days, because some people want to actually nail it and do so well. But really minimum, it takes half a day. And so to give the opportunity to young people to create or co-create non-existing activities is going to be our very, very core focus. And to mention to any key players here, of course, anyone into the lodging, platforms like Tubayo, we are really, really very committed at the Ultimate Group of Companies to actually partner and collaborate with anyone that is interested in actually increasing the number of activities that we actually have on our offering as a country. My last thing really is that I would like to emphasize the element of collaboration and partnership. Whilst we think competition is bad, that is how we've been taught, that's how we've been engineered, especially growing up in a very, let's call it competitive and not very collaborative space. I would like to encourage us to think collaborative in everything we do. We don't have to reinvent nothing, I promise you. Find smart partnerships, be very particular to adding value. That is, you know, one thing I've learned every morning, you know, to my very close friends like Amos, to you, Paula. I will wake up and the next best question is, how can I add value today? But also that question comes from you knowing who you are and what you can actually give. Because I cannot promise giving value if I don't know what I am and what I can give. And then thereafter, you must be able to be willing to give something for free to start with, because out of that comes the next best opportunity. Allow me to just wrap it this way. For instance, being out on this call today, and to all you young people, fellow young people listening in, I would like you to be thinking, for instance, you're on this call, not only to tech. I promise you that you should be challenging yourself to think, because what happens is you gotta stand out, okay? I already see we're coming to 200 plus. How can you add value? You logged in as a mentee, you logged in to listening and to learn. Obviously, everyone's mindset is, what am I here to get? You're all about the getting. I want you to think right now, what can I actually give, you know? Because there's something you can actually give, okay? You can already be thinking about creating a cluster, okay? Within you, go to the chat. I would like people that are interested in going this direction to actually check in with me, drop me your email, and then follow or find a mentor that takes it from there. You're giving value, you're being a leader. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I hope that we take this short actually to redefining and rebranding, re-exciting Uganda, but also the tourism space here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Justice. That was very, very inspirational. I really love the idea of challenging the youth on this call immediately to think about how they can offer value, not even just how they can apply and post their ideas in the Ideathon, but right now. I love that idea of getting the community of almost 200 people that are here right now to connect. One of the other fantastic things that I really just want to extract from what you said, again, for those who are just joining, is the opportunity to create or co-create experiences. Brian touched on that. Very, very, very important. All of you who are thinking of this, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. An activity, or like as we like to think about it, an experience is really a service. So we are not talking about startup costs, fixed costs, having an office, any of that. Brian talked about how technology doesn't necessarily need you to have that, the internet. Aleti also alluded to that, social media, which is free. Post these new activities that you're coming up with, come up with an experience, post it, share it with your friends and family, get 10 or 20 people around you and take them across the country. One of you, correct me if I'm wrong, but is there an individual solo experience going across Uganda to all of the different regions right now, experiencing, you know, the north, the east, the west, the south, central? Is there anything like that? And if there isn't, why isn't one of you creating it right now? I mean, I think I know the usual, the Bwindi, the Murchison, the Queen Elizabeth, but what if someone wanted to go across the country and have a 10-day individual solo experience across the country? Couldn't one of you easily create that, collaborate, as Justice has suggested, with the lodges and the partners and Great Lake Safaris, Amos Wekesa is on here, and create something like that to offer value to people around you, but also to make money? I think the tourism space has a lot to offer, and I'm really appreciative. I'm seeing the chats and the comments coming in, just as many people are very grateful for your very inspirational chat. Thank you so much. Mr. Wekesa, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Good job, Justice and Brian. I think I've seen Brian before. We've met before. I can tell. Brilliant presentations, guys.
Yes, I'm very interested in two things. One is what you, as having been still being a very big player in our tourism space and having promoted Uganda for over 20 years, I'm wondering what you think about Brian's presentation about the opportunity of technology in this space and how existing players can begin to start to leverage maybe some of these technology opportunities.
Yeah, I must say that when I listen to people like Brian and Justus, the Slomonias, and you know, I am so excited about the future of the country, because quite a lot of young people go out there and complain about this country, and they don't understand that they're supposed to be the solution. I am on the internet, I see young people bashing government, bashing. Let me tell you, all these guys in government right now, they don't care. a single day about you. They don't, you know, they're there trying to survive. They have no jobs. They have no skills. They cannot do anything else, those guys. We need a critical mass of young people like Brian, Kojo, you know, Lumonya, all these guys coming together, fighting hard to try and make a difference. So when you complain, you actually have a right to complain. If Brian Amanya complained now, he definitely has a right to complain, because first he's becoming a solution. Kojo is becoming a solution. But also just understanding the bigger picture. And that's what I'm trying to say. You tap into something and you specialize in it. I mean, I've ridden bikes with Justice quite a number of times. And just the amount of idea, the amount of knowledge, the innovation. Because the thing is that tourism is everything. You can just go in one village and start hiking. You can go on the internet and do what Brian is doing, just specialize in making sure that people are able to book maybe accommodations. You can also make sure that people book certain kind of specialized activities, say in the East or the North or the West, you know, and you become the guy that everybody wants to work with. And, you know, the thing is that the young people now have better opportunities than we did have when we were growing up. And we're starting these businesses. 20 years ago, a guy, a Dutch guy, introduced me to internet, and he designed our first website. And at that time, there was very little competition online for Ugandan content. And because there was very little competition for Ugandan content, we saw it very fast. We started growing. We made actually lots of money lots of money in quotes. For Ugandan standards, we did. But also at the same time, while we do all these things, we must understand that growth needs you to grow in many aspects of your life. You know, your own health, your ability to understand financial management, your ability to understand reinvestment, your ability to engage in innovation, your ability to surround yourself with the right people, your ability to market yourself, put your product out there, you know, and self-improvement all the time. If there's any young person who follows me on Facebook here, will know that every stage of our life, every time I'm trying to improve, I'm trying to get better, I'm trying to be that guy that everybody has to associate with, because we need to understand what our dreams and aspirations are. I told you that earlier on. What is the vision, for example, for Great Lake Safaris? The vision is to be an example, a leading example to other people, such that other people can also emulate and therefore grow as well. We've had so many young people look at Great Lake Safaris, look at Uganda Lodges as a model for growth. And you can see they're growing. You can see they're pushing hard. You can see they're engaging. Now, people like Brian, there need to be so many young kids, so many young people in school engaging, following, you know, and just understanding. If you are a young person and you're listening in, follow, go on Instagram, follow Lumonya, follow Paula, follow Susan, whatever, follow Brian, follow Kojo, and see what they're doing. But also, I also encourage you, Brian, Justice, and the other panelists. Please share as much information as you can. Continue engaging with social media, continue engaging with online. Now, they've discovered that one of the greatest enemies of growth now is inability for entrepreneurs to tell their story. Do not fear to tell your story. I know that in Uganda, a lot of people are mistaken. Oh, the Bible says don't talk about things you do. No. That's not what exactly it's all about. If MTN uses $10 million to tell you that they exist and they're selling you air, how much more effort should Kojo with a product called Gorilla Bike put in? A lot more effort. Tell your story. You will not get everybody on your side. That's true. If you want to please everybody, you go and actually sell ice cream. But if you want to grow, you have to make sure that you do things that will annoy a lot more. In fact, if people are not annoyed about you, if some people are not annoyed about you, the reality is that you're doing nothing, you know? So the young guys, I am excited about this. I am excited about the ability for them to actually take on different aspects of the tourism industry. And yes, you should continue inspiring others. Did I answer your
Thank
question?
you so much,
I
Mr.
must have gone
Wekesa.
across.
What would
I
you
must
say
have
to...
meandered.
No. You are still on point. But I'm just wondering what your thoughts are, or what your advice is to the younger person who's saying, yes, Mr. Wekesa, yes, Justice, yes, Paula, this is all well and good. I want to participate. I have ideas that I want to put into action, but I am feeling down or demotivated about this COVID thing. Is this the right time to start planning? Should we wait until we're out of this lockdown? What would be your advice to young people, specifically during this time and the fact that we're in a lockdown in Uganda?
I think the reality is that if you're waiting for the good times, you're in the wrong world. You're not supposed to be living as a human being. There is no right time, there's no bad time. And unfortunately for life, every single day that you waste procrastinating, how do they call it, people who have gone to school?
Procrastinating.
Absolutely. The longer you spend time doing that, you're going to go nowhere. Every day that passes, today you're young, tomorrow you want to be young. I remember very, very well at one point, not long ago, I was the most sought out young tour operator in this country. I am no longer the youngest sought out tour operators in this country. I am now an old man. So it's over time. You see yourself getting 30, you see yourself getting to 40s. And this is the time for you to make mistakes. It's time for you to engage. It's time for you to pursue a topic. It's a time for you to, the thing is that Namanya right now is not sitting there and just dreaming. In fact, this is the best time for him because he's not distracted by a lot of things. He's able to continue reading and finding out what things happen. Let me tell you, Ugandans, even in COVID, South African banks are working. MTN is working, making money here. Richard Branson is going to space during COVID. Now you're sitting there, you're poor, and you're saying, is it the right time? That's the wrong thinking, in my opinion. So wake up every day, energized, charged. It is true that sometimes I have also woken up and felt so low, But when I feel so low, I go and jog, do some exercise, my mind clears up, and I start again, and I push again. There's no perfecting timing for. In fact, this is a perfect time because the harder the situation, the better you think, the better you act, and the better you grow.
That is fantastic advice. Thank you so much, Mr. Wekesa. There are so many questions for you in the Q&A section and that are keeping on coming. So I'm going to just have you stay on for a bit. I'm maybe going to ask you one and then distribute the rest of the questions between the other panelists. Just so for those of you on the call, we're going to transition to the Q&A section and then begin engaging with some of you, seeing what you think and the questions that you have for our distinguished guests while we have them sharing their time with us. So Mr. Wekesa, a question from Buire Oscar. He says, Mr. Wekesa, you talked of using social media to carry out business amidst COVID, but I have a question for you. How can a native who has been operating a small enterprise of an art shop around a park or resort survive during this time? So that's a question for you from Buire Oscar, who's an artist in a park. So we have a question from Buire Oscar. He's an artist in one of our parks. And he says, you talked about leveraging social media to run a business, and he's wondering what he can do right now when people are not traveling, and he has his art shop to continue in order to survive during this time.
I think, first of all, I must appreciate what he's doing. He's an artist. An artist is a very, for you to be able to draw, you need a very special way of thinking. And I don't believe that I have that special way of thinking in many ways, because my art knowledge is extremely very basic and in many ways useless. So Buire, you've done a fantastic thing. Now, Buire, I think, spent so much time understanding that the world is changing and changing extremely very fast. But like I said, your phone, Buire, is such a big market. Ask yourself every day, what is that one thing that I am doing with my Facebook page every single day? what value am I adding? When you do art, you're actually adding value. So you have a big market online. And like I said, take time and understand. The internet has got everything. Go and just read about how to position your products. Form your shop online. In fact, when the tourists are moving around the country, you should be so much on online that if I am passing through Bwindi, if you're in Bwindi, I should be able to look for you as an artist. But it is because I have read about you on any of the platforms on social media. Sure, that should be Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. The key thing right now is take your business online. That is important. And by the way, it's not just even targeting the foreign tourists. A lot of Ugandans who are making a bit of money now, building homes, are also looking at having art pieces into their homes. How are you reaching them? Think about yourself. And a lot of us, of course, as Ugandans, we always intend to think, oh, let me just look out for only the foreigner. But as a Ugandan, I can tell you that, yes, we've not done extremely very well in this COVID time as a business, but I've had so many Ugandans come to, to Elephant Plains, for example, go to MV Kazinga. Of course, expectations being from a Ugandan were extremely difficult because Ugandans expect to have bad service from a fellow Ugandan. But with time, I have seen Ugandans appreciate. Ugandans are raving about Elephant Plains. Ugandans are raving about MV Kazinga. But we're also treating them right. We are putting in more effort. In fact, it's a time for Bwire to make sure that he becomes even a more excellent artist. One of the challenges for artists in this country, those ones especially doing pieces, the quality is not matching the quality of Kenya or the quality of Rwanda, the quality of Congo, the quality of Tanzania. And that's why you see that almost 80% of the pieces you see in all our shops are coming in from Kenya and Tanzania. What that simply means is that we are giving money to Kenyan and Tanzanian population who are doing the more excellent job. But the more excellent job we do here, the better for us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wekesa. Oscar, I hope you're still here and you've noted that advice. I hope you're leveraging your social media to still share what your skills are, what your abilities are, maybe even some of the pieces that you've already done. A trend that I'm seeing is a lot of artists having social media pages, as Mr. Wekesa has suggested, and a lot of them are asking people to send in their photos and commission them online to do sketches and designs and paintings and things like that. So that is something that you can offer as a service. Border borders are still moving. You can still deliver paintings and sketches to people's homes. What I would really like to encourage those of you on this call and Ugandans is to not only think about one way of doing business, but being open to being creative, thinking out of the box, and still serving those people who you serve with your skills and your experience and your products, even during this time. I know you will only be grateful for it. Brian Namanya of Tubayo Travel, there is a question for you. Brian, are you still there?
Yes, Paula. Yes.
Brian, the question is, how did you build trust with Tubayo's customers, especially in the beginning, and selling your services online?
Oh yeah, so that was an interesting one because I'll tell you this: when we launched our platform in January 2019. And we reached out to potential partners. Those were the agents, to our operators who had products, telling them to list on our platform. It was so hard because they would ask, what's your experience like? And we just launched it, we have no experience. So those people didn't trust to list with us. And so what happened, I had to tell the team of, hey, I think we're going to have to come up with these products ourselves. We are tech people, we're the product for tourism. So because people didn't trust, you had no track record, we had to design these products ourselves. So I remember we designed the first Wild Waters experience that we put up to sell. And I remember when we put it up to sell, we wanted to market it. We pushed it out so hard on our pages and we didn't get any booking that week. You know, so we're starting to think, does our thing even work? We're not getting any booking. How are we going to promise these guys to list their products, distribute them on our platform, and yet we can't get them customers? So that weekend, we failed to get a customer, but we decided to give it another try. And the following weekend, we get, the following week, we get 2 people that book in earlier the week, of that week. And we're excited. We're like, okay, these people have booked in, but it included a lot of selling of, hey, trust, we're on Instagram, you know, and these people just, I think from the selling, they just took that faith and paid with us. We had not met them. But what happened is the trip then fails to happen at the end of the week because the economics couldn't make sense. We needed a minimum of 10 people for that trip to happen. And I did a very bad thing, which was to lie to the customers. I tell them how, sadly, there was a group that had inquired earlier, but they hadn't made the booking, and it was so big, it filled up the entire trip. So we're going to have to refund your money. Yeah. So I lied to them, but it was out of shame. I failed to get the customers. But then they tend to believe me, and they're like, okay, I think this trip is exciting because I show them the pictures. This is Wild Waters. People didn't know about this. And the experience was about a day visit to this. Wild Waters is very expensive. But for Ugandan to afford that, we noticed if we create a day trip, simply go there, take nice pictures for the gram, get back home, you're happy, you're posting on your Instagram, people are happy, you're getting the likes. This is the trend of the current generation. So we thought it was a wonderful trip. So those people then decide to keep with the money with us. And I'm thinking to my team, no, we're not doing this again. We've tried 2 attempts and we failed. So on the 3rd attempt, we decided we're going to do something different. We're going to push even harder. So we sent to almost 100 Facebook groups. We were sending to every WhatsApp group we're in. Social, we're everywhere. And that very day of sending across aggressively like that, we're able to book, to fill out this trip. I remember when we got that, the most fulfilling bit was just simply saying fully booked on our social media. That was like so fulfilling. So that's how we got our first customers. And we noticed this is what we are going to go with. These are the people that are giving us the money. So we are going to give them the best service for them to refer people. And so that was our first trip on the 3rd attempt. And when we went to the trip, we made sure we took pictures. So we're focused because when I had the idea, I need everyone to post on their WhatsApp, on their Instagram about this trip. And so from those wonderful, that wonderful experience, that's how we got referrals. And I tell you, the following week, the trip was full. So how did we build the trust? Right from there, doing an exceptional service to the customers. The referrals have been for the whole of 2019, we had no funding, 0 funding. We are planning to develop a platform. This is something that is in a harsh market. We are competing with people like Airbnb, Booking.com. These companies have funded billions of dollars. It is harsh. People are going to choose them before you. Their service is great, and the customer is so fair. They want a great customer experience, you know. But we knew that we had to use what we have. If it's just calling them, we're going to call them and give them 5 minutes. Someone at Booking is not doing that. They've already automated everything. So they feel more trusted using a platform like ours. So we focused on those small things. If we're going to enable mobile money collections, that is the difference we're going to create with these other platforms. They're only using Visa cards and MasterCards and all. Our Ugandans are using mobile money. So every chance we got with the customer, we gave them the best. You know, they would call up. Whenever they would call, we just simply tell them, we're excited for you to book with us, you know, first moment. And then they would laugh it off. Like, okay, this is interesting. And before you know it, we are getting their booking. So the customers helped us build trust, the referrals. That's how we kept getting the numbers. And the other thing was really to the partners. So we started to partner with people that are well-known, you know, and putting our word out there. When people get to know you, that is like the reason why marketing exists, for awareness and trust. You know, you need to be seen all over. If people have never seen you, they're not going to trust you, you know. And if they see you with these different partners, they get to trust you. And one thing we're aware of is the power of social media. It can either build you or destroy you. You mishandle a single booking on social media, you may not have a chance to survive. You know, one person will tell the whole world, because they'll tell 1,000 people. Those 1,000 people will be very biased about your product. So we made sure we were true to the value that we're giving, and then these referrals built the trust. And maybe we also noticed an opportunity the way we were marketing was there was so much hope that the youth needed, you know. And I remember telling the team, if we need to grab these people, the older generation, the people we look up to, didn't trust us because it is really fair. Like, why should they trust you? You haven't done anything in the market. We were like, okay, it's going to be hard for us to convince those guys. Let us convince the young people who are just like us, you know? And so we use that strategy, knowing in a year or 2 years, these people are going to be empowered and they will be all over our brand. And so we knew that we were going to inspire them through hope, you know? For example, I had never been on a plane when I started the Tuvayo. I couldn't afford it, you know, but while we're doing the trips and they were coming through, we're like, what exciting thing can we give people? And back then, Uganda Airlines have just launched, and all over social media, it was, you know, the guys saying they're giving Rolexes, and the pilot saying, it was just so much random stuff about the Uganda Airlines. And then I thought to my team, what can we do with Uganda Airlines? So one, I hate the whole chasing people to qualify myself. May I like to offer the value? Then we have a proper conversation. So I tell the team, we're not going to write a proposal to them. We are simply going to go to their website, look at the prices for the flight ticket to like Mombasa, and we draft the package there, and we creatively market it. And so we came up with a trip called Fill Up Uganda Airlines. So this was exciting because this is our brand. Let's fill it up. I didn't talk to any of the Uganda people. So mine was, if we get as many people, it will be a good thing for us to contribute to the Uganda Airlines. And it was a success. In fact, we were only limited because we did charter the plane before. So they had earlier bookings, but we were almost going to fill up that plane to Mombasa. So that gave the excitement to the young people, because I've noticed it's so easy to work with fellow young people. It's all about what is there for us in the future, what possibilities are there for us. So we try to create that in our marketing. And after the Uganda Airlines, I remember we then had to sit down and like, what next thing should we do that we should get people excited about travel, excited about the Ugandans, the young people participating in this. Or like, I think now we need to make a trip to Mars. And for those who have seen our mission, we are very committed on that. And every time we see people like Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, you know, doing all these innovations, that's just possibility with us. So all these things collectively have built on trust, have built on the excitement for young people about the travel industry. And yeah, we're just going to like keep doing them, delivering great customer service, and just showing as many possibilities that are there for the young people to get onto the internet, and particularly in the tourism sector. I'll give you an interesting, one of our interesting stories. Like the hosts on our platform, some of the packages, you know, you asked that question of, I was saying, thank you. Whereas people are worried about what kind of products can we create in this country, the tourism offerings, here's what I can say. The opportunity for this, and the trend is so clear, there's just so much. And I agree with Mr. Amos and Mr. Justice, it is untapped, it's less than 3%. You know, the indicators are one, we are the most ethnically diverse country in the world. The resources, we're just the pearl of Africa. So there's just so much to do that the world has not seen. And this is something we're excited. Once we show it to the world, we'll have endless revenue streams in this country. But my thinking is for us to enable this, to tap into this, is to have these platforms, just like Play Store and App Store provided the platforms for different creatives in the technology space to, you know, to create these apps that we use today. Zoom today is off App Store or Play Store. So I think we create a level platform whereby we enable the young people to come up and be creative. There's just so much they will create. We've seen experiences like the ghetto stories, ghetto streets on our platform. These are created by the ghetto youth here in Kamocha. And how much are they paid per person? 60,000 to go and visit. Tell me any street where you pay a guide to take you around. So the ghetto presents $1 million opportunity right there. And on a good day, those hosts earn up to 600,000 off one go like this. About 2 people, 600,000, taking them around the ghetto. They have kept their uniqueness, but they're earning money from the travel opportunity. Thank you, Paula.
Brian, I am so grateful and so impressed about everything that you're saying. I have my notes here, and I really just hope all of the attendees have picked up on many of the things that you've said. To answer your initial question, and I think you've given us so much more, what I could tell is that you proved yourselves to your customers and to the industries. I also very much love your example of how you sold. So posting and sharing on hundreds of Facebook groups and direct selling, I know that's a thing entrepreneurs are not ready to do. That's a thing that I know even as an entrepreneur may be uncomfortable, but the only way to make it, to have impact, to make sales is to make offers and say, put it in front of as many faces as possible. And you're going to get many no's, as you said. So only from sharing to the 100, 200, 300 to buy. There are a lot more, many questions coming up here. And so many more came, Brian, when you were speaking. One, what words do you have for the young people out there who are trying?
Should it be? Sorry, I lost you. Do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please go ahead and answer that. So for those who are encouraged and inspired by everything that you're saying, but they are discouraged, what advice do you have for them? Where can they start right now?
All right, so to the young people, this is an exciting time for the young people. You have no idea, but I'll tell you this. Right now, these old people or the big players you see, in such a time, all they are thinking about is surviving, yeah? There are people who have nothing that we are worried about, you know? They're thinking about how am I retaining my 100 employees? How am I, you know, where am I going to get the money to pay? You know, all these things are working in the favor of the young people, you know? So start from where you are. I try to tell people, look around you, there's so much you can use to start. You know, if it's creating a product, just start already and put it on social media. And follow mentors, you know, ask people around how to use this stuff. I could give you a whole story on how we started to create this. You know, I've told you the platform we aim to create is something you'd compare to Airbnb, and these are worth over 50, 100,000 US dollars, but we didn't have that money at the start. So just appreciate that right now, everything is in the favor of the young people to simply use what they have to start. You can do social media better. These old players have been in offices the whole time. It is such a challenging time for them. Use that opportunity and do something for yourself. Yeah. It's a very wide question, but
Thank you so very much.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you so much. You've shared a lot of ideas and a lot of different ways that Ugandans can think about and young people can think about entering into tourism from your story and your experience. Thank you so much. Just as there's a question from one of the attendees asking what the opportunity is in community-based tourism and how young people can begin to think about entering that space. Justus, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Paula. That's a very interesting question. And I'm a believer of leadership and community. No matter what we do, no matter how successful we get at business, if we are not actually taking it back to the grassroots, I think we have only failed. So that's such an interesting place to be because there's a lot of players within community and you can be as small or as big as you want to. But again, you gotta be proactive. I want you to understand, okay, when you see all these tourist vehicles running by or through your community, you gotta be thinking, what can I actually give? How can I leverage? Because honestly, for someone to have come from California, for anybody to have come from Beijing, and there they are going through your community, I think you really must be thinking, what can I add to this? And that is where one of the things I'd really like to do for especially everyone on this call, the young folks and the young people, I really would like to, I love working with young people. I love giving value and I love growing. I have so much work and improvement to do myself. So I also see it as a great opportunity to learn from everyone. So one of the things I would like to do, Paula, would be to even migrate this. This is my own value I'm giving in, to even ideate further, but also especially in the line of co-creation. I would like to give more of my time in mentorship towards going into scope or funnel that discussion down. I would like to take this opportunity to invite everyone. This is the tourism cohort or thematic focal Zoom. I would like to give myself to you to basically brainstorm and see how we basically ideate and bring to life what the idea is. But to answer your question articulately, community-based engagement, I think, is definitely the solution. And for as long as anything we create benefits the community, like I said, there's a lot of power in partnership and collaboration. I can tell you, milking a cow, basically, going down and playing with those titties is an opportunity. It is an experience. It is an excursion. And you don't have to be the farm owner. Go to the farm owner with your proposal, pitch it, present it, show them the opportunity. Now, what then happens? Okay, people will come, appreciate that. Thereafter, they might buy some milk or even some dairy products. And that is all coming from a place of, number one, wanting to give value, and number two, being proactive. Over and beyond it all is the ability for you to dream. It's very, very unlawful for us. That's how I like to say it. It's very unlawful. It's very unacceptable. It is wrong. Matter of fact, it's criminal for all of us to live life under the cap, to be living under your best ability, potential. You have sold yourself. So I would like to inspire, encourage every young person, every one of us really here, aim for the best. Brian Tobayo wants to go to Mars, like go sell that on the streets of Kampala. Some people will throw stones at you. That is Brian's dream. If you don't believe it, Brian is going. Matter of fact, Brian, I'm going with you. I would like to be a part of that journey, a part of that trip. So if you're a young person, you must be able to dream. There is beauty in dreaming. You must be able to dream, and dreams come true. Perhaps, Paula, just to add on a little bit, all of us again seek mentorship. Like I say, Amos Wekesa, for instance, is one of my own mentors. And so we must be going in to seek mentorship and to grow. Personal development is extremely over and beyond important. If you feel that you have arrived, or if you feel comfortable with what you have and where you are now, I am very, very, very sorry for you. I would like to tickle you. I'd like to ignite the fire in you to go and seek growth, be challenged, come back to a tough day, you don't have to win every day. Like I said, learning, failing is paramount. Out of failure, we get better. And so any ideas you want to come up with, be prepared to dream, be prepared to do the work, and accept the failure. Two more things. To my own fellow panelists, I'm big on giving value, because when you give, then opportunities arise. Facebook is free, Instagram is free. However, there's a paid version of it. They have given us this for free to start, and we are able to, I losing you, Paula? Okay, I think we're losing Paula. I hope everyone else can hear me.
Let's just can hear you. Please go ahead.
Fantastic. So to even my fellow panelists, to our very own donors or implementing partners, I would also like to plug in so much value to you already. If there's anything you believe I have and I can give, I'm happy to give, because out of that rises a lot of opportunity. Finally, I really want to see more ladies. I want to see the girls. We ran through the states earlier, the statistics earlier, and the applications coming in are, the men are more involved. I would like to encourage the girls, the women out there to actually own it. I personally believe in women, and I know that women do are more focused, can do so much more. And so would like to invite women within the space of tourism, and not just tourism, within the entrepreneurial journey, but not just the entrepreneurial journey, but leadership generally and overall. Thank you very much. That's the end of my submission for now.
One more question for Aleti. Throughout this entire webinar, we have talked about young people leveraging social media, sharing what value they have to offer, sharing their skills, starting now, not giving up and not being put down, using every second, every day, as Mr. Amos shared with us. And someone on this call who has been able to do that very, very successfully is Aleti Christo. About the time that the first lockdown in Uganda happened, she had 0 followers and then decided to travel to different places across the world. And she has almost 4,000 followers now and really a notable brand, at least in Uganda. So Aleti, if you're still there, I was wondering if you can really describe how you've gone about gaining the following that you have. If they want to travel, if they want to create content, if they want to create services in a business from travel, how to go about it, and what you to your success. Aleti, are you there?
Hi, Paula, I'm here, but I didn't get the question. You were breaking a bit.
Yes, so can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, we have alluded a lot to using social media, and you're one of the people on this call who has been able to do it very successfully in a short amount of time. So I was wondering if you can give the young people on this call some advice about how to build their brands, maybe even sell services online, and go about creating content and experiences from travel on social media.
Okay. Thank you so much, Paula, for this opportunity. First things first, like Brian said, you start where you are with what you have. Procrastination is one of the things that I think kept me from becoming maybe who I would have been if I had started earlier. I had always wanted to tap into social media and influence people to travel and sell different destinations to people, sell different products online. But I was always like, no, I'll do it later when I buy a better phone, when I get a gadget, when I buy a camera, when I buy all this. Until the lockdown happened. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to start with what I have, where I am right now. So you basically start with what you have. That's the first step to anything. You start with what you have. You start right there. You do not wait for, let me wait for tomorrow. Let me wait for when I get enough money. Let me wait for when it's right for me to start, because there's never a right time for you to start. The right time is always there and then. Like when you get the idea, just start, just do it. I've had so many questions about confidence. I was one of the, even in real life, I'm one of the shyest people I know. Paula, I was telling you this, I don't know if that's even a statement, but if I can put out content right now, anyone, I believe anyone can do it. I mean, if you want to sell, let's say if you own a lodge and you really want to market your business online, but then you're like, I'm shy, or someone is going to judge me. Someone is going to say this. What if I speak broken English? What if my quality of video is not so good? What if I'm judged? I mean, the whole world is judged. I mean, Brian, if you go downtown and tell people you're going to Mars, everyone is going to be like, oh, you're crazy. But you know, for the time I've known you, we all know you're going to go to Mars. And like Ko just said, I'm going to come with you. Okay. So the other thing about social media is consistency. Once you decide and say, I'm going to do it, once you decide, once you package yourself a certain way and say, I'm going to put out travel content, just be ready to put out travel content. Do not stop. Like even when you get those ideas in your head, there are days I wake up and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm very tired. I'm not going to do it. Maybe you invest a lot of money. Maybe let's say going to Buindi, you're going through so much. And then maybe you put out a post and you literally get 1 like or 2 or 3. That should never stop you. One thing that social media has really taught me is that should never ever stop you. You just keep going. You put out today's post and put out tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Trust me, people are watching. They are just not convinced yet. And after a while, you'll be able to convince people. One, just be true to one yourself. Just put out relatable content, okay? Of course, have a target. I have a target. I really wanted to have 4,000 followers by July, and it's really happening. It's really happening. I'm only short by about 300. I really wanted to monetize by this year, and it's happened. So if you set your mind to something, our minds are so powerful. People just do not realize. We underestimate ourselves. Our minds are so powerful that if you set your mind towards a goal, you will achieve that. Yeah. So consistency, discipline, do not procrastinate, and then be available for your audience. I mean, engage them. If you put out a post, someone is going to come and ask you, oh, where is this? Be able, like, always be available to give them the information. Because the problem with most people who are putting out travel content, I'll come and say, hi, how did you get to Wendy? And then the first thing I'll say is, my red card is this and this, please, if you want, or go to Google. Do not send people to Google. I mean, if you've been to Wendy, simply say, this is what you do. I use Tuvayo, I used ABCD. I mean, be there for your audience, because you joined this platform to engage, to interact, to sell a product, okay? In this case, to sell tourism, yeah? So be kind. Kind is also very important. Being kind is very important, sorry. So be kind, be there for your audience, be engaging, be persistent. Do not give up, do not procrastinate, be disciplined, be willing to work with brands, okay? Because I mean, a brand will approach you. Let's say Limala will write to you and they'll be like, hi, Aleti, can you come and stay at our facility? In return, we're gonna give you a free night. So what you're gonna do is give us a shout out. Most people will be like, no, please, no, money first. But honestly, if especially if it's a lodge in your own country, if the partner is in your own country, it's not so hard for you to do it for them, because in return you're putting your country out there. Okay. It should not always be about money. Yes, we do influence for money, like you're in it for the money. But I think you should not put money at the forefront, honestly. Be willing to collaborate, be open to partnerships, because maybe you're working with a startup right now and they're not able to pay you $1,000 for each post. They are not able to. But maybe if you start up and work with them, I mean, one step at a time, maybe at some point they'll be able to pay. So especially the brands in Uganda that are not doing so well, or that are startups, or I mean, it's COVID times, everyone is struggling. Be open-minded, be open to collaborations and partnerships. Yeah. Thank you so much, Paula. That's my submission for now.
Let me give Ian an opportunity. Ian, there's also a small question on how you managed to retain your employees during the pandemic. I saw you raise your hand earlier on when Justice was submitting. Maybe you had something small to add in there. Please go ahead.
Yes,
then Paula will come and wind up.
Okay.
Thank you
very much, Albert. So about that question, actually, before I answer that question, I just want to share something with the panelists and the attendees today. People in tourism, I want to share that bigger than the animals that we have in this country, bigger than the beauty, one of the biggest products that we have is the chance to share our culture, because African culture is very beautiful. And if you make experiences out of the African culture, or for example, the way Brian shared, you make an experience out of the ghetto. All of us have experiences, and that is, all of us have culture. And the way we tell that story is a jackpot. It can allow us to earn a lot of money. For example, all of us see cows. You see cows all the time, but at Mbarara Farm Lodge in Mbarara, they have a tour based on cows. And they have this well-dressed lady and this very professional shamba man that is telling you about this cow. They show you these beautiful pots and teach you how in a family, everyone had a specific cow that was theirs, that they were supposed to drink from every day. And someone would milk that cow and tell this lady, this milk is from Brian's cow, and Brian can only drink from that cow. So if we look at what we have around us, we can create a lot of value from those stories. Because when I look back throughout my education, one of the things I remember most is in P3, they taught us about legends. They told us the story of Chinto and Nambi, Jipira and Labongo, and those stories, they stuck in my mind to date. So people love to hear stories, and I believe there's great opportunity in our culture. And that starts with us loving our culture, us loving our names, us going back to understand what we're actually about, and then sharing this with the world. On the Tuvayo app, there's a sound experience. There's someone sharing healing through sound. And in Africa, we have so many, in Uganda, we have so many cultures that we can tap into and sell as experiences to people. Then also another idea I want to share. Last year in October, I was visiting Kidepo Valley National Park, and I coincidentally happened to meet some people from Uganda Wild and Live. They were being led by a gentleman called Abias Ramwiri, and they were in the game park, but they were live. So they were recording the lions live, the cheetahs live, and people from Brazil were commenting, oh, this is beautiful. Can you show us a giraffe? Can you show this to us? So this is just an idea to maybe Great Lakes Safaris and to Tuvayo and to people in the tour industry. That what if you went to you started selling virtual trips? You can charge someone 10,000 shillings per person, but you're trying to sell to thousands of people around the world. Then you are going to go there with a camera, and it's not so expensive. Someone is not in Uganda, someone is abroad, but they're able to see this experience. They're able to see these animals. They're able to do tourism virtually. So I think that's also a good idea, a good aspect, since the coronavirus is here for a while and travel may be held back. Even Ugandans, a lot of Ugandans want to go to Bwindi. They want to see the animals, but maybe they want to see the gorillas, but maybe it's so expensive for them. So you go to Bwindi and you're recording this live, you're bringing Bwindi live to someone's home, because it's different when it's live and when it's recorded. There's a different feeling that it gives to someone. So I believe that's an opportunity that we can tap in. Then someone asked a question about how we've been able to retain employees at Oguzulu Resort, and yet we are not getting customers the way we used to. So at the moment, what we have done is we have, by law every year, an employee is supposed to take leave for a certain number of days. So during the lockdown, we've given employees an opportunity to take leave. And then we've been able to retain the key essential workers that we can't do without. But at the same time, we are organizing regular training for all our employees and preparing them for the time after the lockdown, because at the end of the day, it's all about being ready to serve. And some of our employees people are 18 years old, people are 20 years old, but you find that these people are in S1, S2, because we've taken up some people from the local community in Katosi. So someone is in S1, S2, because of COVID-19, they've not been able to go to school, but we are training them in the Mezen plan. We're training them customer care. We're training them room service, how you maintain a room. We're teaching them how to interact with people. So we are skilling them. And these are young people that are not going to school right now, and they really have nothing to do. So we are giving them this opportunity. And to sum this all up, I want to encourage the participants to always look for inspiration, always look for mentorship, always, the internet is available. You can message someone anywhere. You know, people complain about about capital. But there are so many opportunities. You can write emails, thousands of emails to people, and someone will be willing to support you. For example, personally, I usually look into, there's a hotel in Ghana called the Royal Senchi that's run by someone called Nana Asamoah Yeboah. And when you look into his story, in the early 2000s, he was writing emails to different foundations. He wants to build this hotel. The Mandela Foundation responded to him. They gave him a chance to meet the director of Protea Africa and share his idea. Meanwhile, he only had a restaurant on the land at that time. There was no room, there was no nothing. It was just an idea. But out of writing thousands of emails, he was able to get support and achieve his dream. So look for inspiration, look for people that are doing it big in the things that you're interested in, and keep your mind open, and the sky will surely be the limit. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, but we have Jimmy. Let's have, yes, Jimmy. Yes, Jimmy, you're most welcome. Please take over. We're actually winding up. I believe you've been listening. Over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Albert. I have been following, and my part will simply be to say thank you to Justus, to Ian, Dorothy interpreting, Brian, Mr. Amos Wekesa, Thomas, you've been on, Bana, everyone, Susan, everyone that has been on the panel today, just helping our participants to appreciate the opportunities that there exist in the tourism sector. I like Kojo opening up your life and saying, I want young people to come to me as a mentor, as a coach, as a trainer. This facilitation is much needed for young people because skilling is very, very important. For the entrepreneur, they just want to feel they're not walking a lonely journey. They want to know that someone is actually there, understanding them, working with them, the ability to give them the wisdom and the insights they need, making particular decisions for their businesses to stand. So we thank you for opening up your calendars and making time. Time is a very valuable resource for each one of you. So we thank you for that. For the participants, we want to say thank you for tuning in today. I think we hit the 200 mark. That is not a joking subject. I will copy Golola's words. It's a good thing just having those 200 here, gleaning on your wisdom and your experiences to be able to drive their businesses. The message to every young person on the platform is the Youth Ideathon still goes on. The thematic sessions are going on up to Friday next week. And we encourage you to follow through all of them so that you appreciate how your idea is going to impact the other sectors or how the other sectors will impact your idea. The wisdom here is that you keep refining your idea, making it more competitive and positioning it to win the grants from the UNDP. We also want to thank the UNDP itself, Albert and team, Bana, Hadija. You have done a tremendous job keeping us together on these platforms and coordinating this whole thing, putting it together, plus the grants at the end of the day. Mr. Dennis Aguma is still on NBS, and my role here will just be to close this. The questions that have been directed to the panelists, the approach will be that we are going to draw them down and distribute them accordingly to each of the panelists. I think Paula will do that so that you're able to write responses which we will share in the Q&A on the platform or on the FAQs on the website, or even send them out to the individual participants so that they are able to once again tap into that wisdom. From me to you guys, it's kudos. Well done. Tomorrow we are on with the creatives. I'm looking forward to more numbers and engagement. Keep sharing this information on your social media platforms, draw in young people so that we are able to capture all these ideas nationally. The beauty with the Ideathon, finally, is Kojo, Ian, Dorothy, Mr. Wekesa, there will be regional winners, there will be national winners. So someone from the East can actually win at the Eastern Regional. Someone can win from the Northern Regional. So we're encouraging people from all regions to participate. This is not a Kampala thing. It's not a central thing. I think I'll just close it at that. At times when we are tapped to talk, we talk. Typical sanguines, but I thank you guys. I'm interested in your ideas, Ian, Kojo. Mr. Wekesa, I learned about you from my friend Daniel Chaudhry. We have never met, but maybe sometime we shall. Kudos to the NASE team that is working behind the scenes. We have Ivy on the communications, Brenda doing the websites, the phone calls, and everything else. We have Humphrey on the website, and then we have Mr. Dixon, who is the brain behind our tech. Without them, the Ideathon would have some challenges, but with them, we are going strides one day at a time, and we are looking forward to greater heights. Thank you very much, and bye-bye from me. Back to you, Albert.
Thank you very much. Albert, can I just say something quickly? 1 minute?
Okay, in just a minute.
Yeah, in the interest of time, I appreciate that there's a lot of questions that have been asked. And like I said, I would like to give a lot of value.
Yep.
And as we build entrepreneurs or the next leaders, really, your best opportunity is to solve the next immediate problem. So right here, the problem we have is there's so much that's been asked, but of course, in the interest of time, we can't answer it all. So I would like to work with a quick volunteer now, maybe the first 2 people that basically either comment or raise their hand. I would like one to actually go through all of the questions or actually facilitate for that to happen. And obviously we have the oversight of the UNDP, Albert, and everyone else. But I would like to see a bit of ownership for one actually going in to pick all of the questions. I have shared the link. It is justuskojo.com/contact. And then we basically pick all of your contacts, whoever is interested. That's an online form. Drop us your email, your name, and phone number. And then we'll be able to actually invite, a few other people that we all look up to, such as Amos and so many others on this panel here this morning. And then we will basically be able to even build a cohort, something that, is out of this. Obviously, I wish everyone all of the best to getting through and getting the money, but that is an opportunity for us to even get started with something. I would like to promise you that there's so much value on this conversation, and leaders, what leaders do, what the visionaries do is to pick the best opportunity right before them. So the link is up there. It's justuskojo.com/contact. Anyone that's interested, please upload your form and upload your contact. And then I'll work with one of the leaders that will basically already facilitate and be the coordinator of all of our conversations going forward. Otherwise, I thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I thank you, fellow panelists. I thank you, UNDP, and above all, I thank God for giving us this opportunity, good health, and the opportunity to mentor, but also grow. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Okay,
Cheers.
all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Justus, and thanks so much, Jimmy, for the parting shots. Well, as Jimmy mentioned, the questions that have come through, that came through in the chat, in the Q&A as well, some of them were already responded to and others were not, but those that were not responded to will still also be responded to. We do encourage you to always keep checking out on the website. That is the UNDP.NASE website through which we've been applying. That is for all the participants. This session has been recorded and the recording will also be available in the same place. There are also contacts in there. Should you have any information you want to seek out for, or any questions that you may have that you want to be answered, please do reach out to us through that as well. Yeah, we've come to the very final end. Departure is at leisure. I see, Brian, your hand is also up. Maybe then give us a party shot. For the rest, yes. Departure is at leisure. We've come to the end. Brian.
Yeah, it was going to be so bad if I don't shout out the Tuvayo team that is making this great. So shout out to the Tuvayo team that's attending. And also my other family, the young tour operators, Yuto. It's a great family that has guided me and introduced me to such networks. But also to thank Mr. Justus, who I follow closely. And I encourage you to take up this opportunity. I don't think you would want me to say this, but this is a billionaire offering to give you guidance. Kindly go to that form and fill in. And to Ian, our partner, Ian here, Partners is also our partner. In about 4 months, I think we did about 100 people at his resort. So I'm very grateful for being at this panel with you. And Aleti is a queen. She's a queen of social media. You go to her page, you will travel the following day. So, and she's also doing something in travel. Very inspiring lady. Thank you for the opportunity. And Mr. Amos, this is a godfather of travel. If you need a benchmark of standard, just use Mr. Amos. He's set the standard so high. So we are very grateful. Again, thank you, Paula, Tessa Advisory, and NASE-UNDP. Yeah, we're very grateful. And also download the Tuvayo app. It's a platform for all of us Ugandans, really. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much to all of you panelists. Thanks so much even for the attendees, the participants for coming to the very, very final end. We've come to the end of this session. We look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's session as well. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Bye for now.
Adios. Thank you very much.